In a quiet village in Kerala, everyone knew Jolly Joseph as the perfect daughter-in-law. Loving, caring, always smiling. But behind that smile was a secret so dark it took 14 years to uncover. Between 2002 and 2016, Jolly systematically poisoned 6 members of her own family with cyanide. This is the true story of India's most patient serial killer. 6 murders. 14 years. 1 woman. Tom Thomas, Anama Thomas, Roy Thomas, Matthew Manjadil, Seeley, and little Alphine. 6 people, all dead under mysterious circumstances, all from the same family, and for years nobody suspected a thing, until one man asked a simple question about a piece of land. Let's go back to where it all began. Our story begins in Koodathai, a small peaceful village in Kerala's Kozhikode district. The Ponomatum family was respected, generous, and well known in their community. Tom Thomas, the head of the family, was a retired government employee. His wife, Anama, was known for her kindness and devotion to the church. They had 2 sons, Roy and Roho, both educated, hard-working, and close to their parents. In 1991, Roy married a woman named Jolly. She was charming, educated, and came from a good Christian family. She blended into the Ponomatum household perfectly. Polite, soft-spoken, and seemingly devoted. To everyone, she was the ideal daughter-in-law, the kind who remembered birthdays, cooked for guests, and smiled through everything. But under that calm and composed face, something was quietly brewing, a plan that would soon turn deadly. October 2002. The family sat together for dinner. Tom Thomas enjoyed his meal, went to rest, and a few hours later he was gone. Doctors said it was a heart attack. At 66, that sounded believable. The family was shattered, but there were no questions asked. Jolly cried the loudest. She organized the funeral, comforted her mother-in-law, and held the family together. What nobody knew then was that she had just committed her first murder. Tom Thomas didn't die of natural causes. He died because Jolly had mixed cyanide into his food. Why him? Tom owned significant property. With him gone, control of the family wealth would move toward Roy, and through Roy to Jolly. Her plan had begun, and it worked perfectly. 6 years later, in 2008, another tragedy struck the same home. Anama Thomas, Roy's mother, was suddenly collapsed after dinner. She was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. The doctors once again said it was a cardiac arrest. No one suspected a thing. After all, losing 2 elderly parents to heart problems 6 years apart didn't seem impossible. And Jolly? She remained the caring daughter-in-law, organizing the rituals, cooking for the guests, and hiding her smile behind a veil of grief. With both of Roy's parents gone, Jolly became the undisputed authority in the household. She managed finances, made family decisions, and took control of everything. But her hunger for power was only growing. Her next victim would be someone far closer. 2011, Jolly's husband, Roy Thomas, a quiet man working at a local bank, suddenly fell ill after dinner. He began vomiting, gasping for breath, and within hours, he was dead. He was just 40. Another heart attack, they said. Once again, Jolly played the role of the grieving widow. Calm, composed, crying at the right moments, and talking about her husband's stressful job. But privately, she was already crafting a new identity. After Roy's death, Jolly told everyone that she had secured a job as a professor at the National Institute of Technology, Calicut, one of India's top engineering colleges. Every morning she dressed up formally, left home, and returned in the evening. She spoke of her students, her lectures, and her research. She even showed salary slips and appointment letters, all perfectly forged. The truth? Jolly never worked there, not for a single day. It was all part of her elaborate lie to explain how she was suddenly managing money and maintaining control over family property. She had become a master manipulator. 3 deaths, same symptoms, same silence, and no one had any idea. By 2014, Jolly's life had taken a new turn. She had begun growing close to another man, Shaju Zacharias, a distant relative and schoolteacher. Shaju had lost his wife's trust due to Jolly's growing friendship, and his father-in-law, Matthew Manjadiel, openly disapproved of her presence. Matthew warned Shaju that Jolly was dangerous. He didn't know how right he was. In April 2014, Matthew suddenly fell sick and died. Doctors once again saw nothing suspicious. He was old, they said, perhaps stress, perhaps his heart. But Jolly knew exactly what had happened. She had poisoned him too. And with Matthew gone, her path to Shaju was clear. Within months, she married him, the man whose father-in-law she had just killed. 2016, Shaju's first wife, Silly, was a kind, cheerful woman and mother of 2 children. She trusted Jolly deeply. One morning, Silly fell violently ill soon after breakfast with Jolly. Within minutes, she was dead. Another cardiac arrest, they said. This time, even Silly's family accepted the explanation, grief-stricken and unaware of Jolly's hidden pattern. But the horror didn't stop there. 2-year-old Alphine, Silly's little daughter, died after drinking milk that Jolly had prepared. A mother and her child, both gone within months of each other. The last 2 victims in Jolly's long, silent killing spree. 6 deaths, all natural, all linked to one woman. And still, no one suspected her. Not yet. Years passed. Jolly lived comfortably, controlling the family home and wealth. She attended church, smiled at neighbors, and continued her life as if nothing had ever happened. But in 2019, her web began to unravel, not because of a detective, but because of a property dispute. Roy's brother, Roho, who lived abroad, noticed something strange. Property papers didn't match what he remembered. The ownership of the family home now listed Jolly, but official records told a different story. When Roho contacted the local bank to verify the documents, the manager was confused. He said, "Something doesn't add up." That simple remark triggered everything. Roho filed a complaint. Police reopened the case, and as they began digging deeper, patterns started emerging. Too many deaths, too many coincidences. The police decided to exhume the bodies. One by one, each grave was opened. Forensic tests were conducted. And in every single case, traces of cyanide were found. The truth was finally out. The perfect daughter-in-law had been a serial killer all along. In October 2019, police arrested Jolly Joseph along with 2 accomplices, one of them a local goldsmith who had supplied her the cyanide. During interrogation, Jolly remained calm. No tears, no denial, no visible remorse. She admitted to everything, how she mixed cyanide into food and drinks, how she planned each murder, and how she covered her tracks for over a decade. Her motive was simple: greed and control. Every murder was carefully timed, meticulously executed, and perfectly disguised. Investigators who spoke to her described her as chillingly normal. They said she could talk about death in the same tone someone might use to describe a recipe. A woman who killed her family, one by one, and smiled through every funeral. Today, Jolly Joseph remains in custody, facing trial for 6 murders. Her calm smile during questioning still haunts those who met her. The case shocked India, not only because of its brutality, but because of the patience, planning, and deception it revealed. For 14 years, Jolly Joseph lived 2 lives, one as a perfect homemaker and another as a cold, calculating killer. The murders of Koodathai remind us that evil doesn't always appear monstrous. Sometimes it wears a smile, serves you food, and sits beside you at the table. Because sometimes monsters don't hide in the dark. They hide in plain sight. If this story disturbed you as much as it disturbed investigators, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life crime stories that uncover the darkest corners of the human mind.